Hello students, let us continue the chapter 20, that is locomotion and movement. In the last video we learned about the muscles, how does the muscle contraction happen and what is locomotion. In this video we will learn about the human skeletal system. So the human skeletal system consists of a framework of bones. There are 206 bones in our body and few cartilages. The bones are what give shape to our body. Without bones being present, our body would not have any particular shape. So these bones, they have hard matrix due to the calcium salt which is present there. Cartilage, as we all know, is a resilient and smooth elastic tissue. It is rubber-like padding that covers and protects the ends of our long bones at the joints and nerves. So it is also a skeletal component of the rib cage, ear, nose, the bronchial tubes, the invertebral disc, and many other body components. So cartilage has slightly pliable matrix due to the chondroitin salts which are present there. The human skeletal system can be broadly divided into two categories, the axial skeleton and the appendicular skeleton. The axial skeleton has 80 bones and the appendicular has 126 bones. In axial skeleton, we will include the bones of head, vertebral column, sternum and the ribs. Whereas in appendicular, we will include the bones of forelimbs, hind limbs, pectoral girdle and the pelvic girdle. Let us understand the axial skeleton in detail. So, as I told you, we will start with the bones of head. There are total 29 bones in the head, which includes the bones of skull, which has 22 bones, the hyoid bone. As you can see in the picture, this bone near our chin is the hyoid bone, which is a single bone, and the ear ossicles, which total form 6 bones. So, the skull has two types of bones, cranial bones and the facial bones. The cranial bones include frontal, parietals, temporals, occipital, sphenoid, and ethmoid bones. The facial bones include the nasals, maxilla, zygomatics, lacrimals, palatines, inferior nasals, mandibles, and femurs. These are all the bones which form the head. The hyoid bone is a U-shaped bone which is found at the floor of our buccal cavity, that is our mouth. The ear ossicles come in pair. We have already studied about them. So they are malleus, incus and stapes. That is how sound is produced with the help of these three bones in the ear. Then the skull articulates with the fist vertebra, that is the atlas of the vertebral column, with the help of two occipital condyles. The vertebral column is formed of 26 vertebrae. They are of 5 types. Cervical vertebra, which has 7 vertebrals, thoracic vertebra, lumbar vertebra, sacral vertebra, and coccygeal vertebra. This one is fused and the sacral one is also fused. So the vertebra has a central hollow portion through which the spinal cord runs. The number of cervical vertebrae are 7 in almost all the mammal. The main job of the vertebral column is to protect the subspinal cord, support the head, and it serves as a point of attachment for the ribs and the musculature of the back. Then we come to the sternum bone or the breastbone. This is a flat bone on the ventral midline of the thorax. Then we have 12 pairs of ribs. They are of 3 types. The first one is the true ribs, which form the first 7 pairs, as you can see in the figure. Then we have the vertebrocondylar ribs, which are also called as false ribs. They form the 8th, 9th and 10th pair. Then we have the floating ribs. They are the 11th and the 12th pair. Each rib has two articulation surfaces on its dorsal end, so it is called bicephalic. The two ribs are attached to the thoracic vertebra and ventrally connected to sternum with the help of the hyaline cartilage. False rib do not articulate directly with the sternum, but they join the seventh rib with the help of the hyaline cartilage. The floating ribs are not connected ventrally. That's why they are called floating. Now let us study about appendicular skeleton. We will start with the bones of the forelimbs. So there are total 30 pairs which makes it to 60 bones. They include humerus, the radius and the ulna, the carpals which are our wrist bones, the metacarpals which form our palm, and the phalanges which is the digits that are present in our fingers. So the bones of hind limbs, they will include all these bones as I've talked about. They will have femur, that is the thigh bone, patella, which is the kneecap, tibia and fibula, tarsals, which form the ankle bones, the metatarsals, and the phalanges, which is the digit, which form the toes. Then we have the pectoral girdle. So there are total 4 bones here. They are formed of 2 collar bones, that is the clavicle, and 2 shoulder blades, which is called the scapula. Scapula is a large triangular shaped flat bone which is situated in the dorsal part of the thorax between the second and seventh ribs. This has a slight elevated ridge which projects as a flat expanded process called the acromion. The clavicle articulates with this. You can see all this in the picture how it is articulated. Below the acromion is a depression which articulates with the head of the humerus to form the shoulder joint. Then we come to the pelvic girdles. They have total 2 bones. They are formed of 2 coxal bones. Each coxal bone is formed by fusion of 3 bones, that is ilium, ischium and pubis. At the point of fusion of these bones, there is a cavity to which the thigh bone articulates. The two halves of the pelvic girdle meet ventrally to form the pubic symphysis containing the fibrous cartilage. Now let us understand about joints. Bones, as we know, they are the hard structures. Joints are the point of contact between bones or between bones and cartilages. So this favor the movement in the human body. They are of 3 types: fibrous joints, cartilaginous joints and synovial joints. Now, fibrous are the immovable joints, cartilaginous are the slightly movable joints, and synovial are fully movable. Fibrous, as I told you, they are immovable, so they are found between flat skull bones. As we know, our skull bones cannot displace from their original place. So they are examples of fibrous joints. Then we have cartilaginous joints, which are slightly movable. So here the bones are joined together with the help of cartilages, the joints between the adjacent vertebra. Then we have the synovial joints, which are the movable joints. They are characterized by the presence of a fluid between the synovial cavity, which is floating between 2 surfaces of the 2 bones. So this is what keeps the body and the joints lubricated. There are various examples of synovial joints like ball and socket joint, which is present near shoulder and hip joint, hind joint, which we generally find in our elbows. Then we have the pivot joint, which are found between atlas and axis. Then we have gliding joint, which are found in our carpals. Then we have the saddle joints, which are found between carpals and metacarpals of our thumb. Now, we also need to study various disorders of the skeletal system. It is not always that the skeletal system will remain in proper shape only. So, one of the disorders is Mestenia Gravis. This is an autoimmune disorder where the body starts working against itself. So, it generally affects the neuromuscular junction and it leads to fatigue, that is tiredness, weakness and paralysis of the skeletal muscle. and the appearance changes drastically, as you can see in the picture. Then we also have muscular dystrophy. So muscular dystrophy is the progressive degeneration of skeletal muscle. It is mostly a genetic disorder, so obviously it is hereditary. You can see how it changes the muscles. The normal muscles, that is the normal bicep muscle, looks like this. Whereas if a person is suffering from muscular dystrophy, then the muscles will keep getting thinner and thinner and they will lose their shape completely. Then we have tetany, which is rapid spasm in the muscle due to low calcium level in the body fluid. So these people will experience these spasms. Then we have arthritis. Arthritis is when the joints get inflammation. So we see this slight raised joints and the fingers they get disfigured. So such problems are called arthritis. They are of various types. Then the other disorder is osteoporosis. Osteoporosis is due to decreased level of estrogen. Here the bones become very porous and this is generally found in older people. This is because of the decreased bone mass and because the bone is so fragile now, if this person falls, then this person is going to get fractured very easily. The last disorder that we will study about is gout. Gout is generally due to the inflammation of joints, which is caused by the accumulation of uric acid crystals. So as you can see, because of this also the bones become disfigured. I hope you all understood these disorders properly. Thank you.